Hey guys, I hope y'all are doing well. I'm kind of out walking around, getting some fresh air, and something I wanted to talk about. I did the video not too long ago. I was talking about women not to hit men, and I've had some feedback, and the feedback that I got, I wouldn't say it was bad, but I apparently there was just like a misunderstanding or a belief that I am making it okay or encouraging women just to stay and be abused by a man, or if a woman is defending herself from an abusive man, then she's supposed to just take it. I'm glad that the person was vocal in what their thoughts were, and again, I don't take anything in a bad way, and I don't feel like her intentions were in a negative way. But it did make me wonder about the other demographic who may not say anything that may be thinking this. And there's something that I did say to her that I want to say here. In no way am I encouraging any woman to stay in any relationship, to be abused, to be beaten up, to just stand there and take it. If anything, I encourage women not to stay in those type of relationships. And I know that after a while it's very hard to do. I can't live any woman's experience as far as what she went through. I can't do that, okay? Everyone gets their courage and their will at different points. But a lot of times before it gets really, really bad like that, there's always like some telltale signs. Most abusers don't really just start off hitting you or anything like that. They do start off doing little tiny things. They kind of prime you and condition you. And a lot of times, ladies, it's possible that the first time they do that, you stick around, you stay, you keep hanging around with that same individual. And then it escalates and it gets worse. And also, the other thing that I mentioned as I talked about my video is that there are women who they're just volatile and they're violent. They just grew up in a volatile environment. They grew up perhaps where they allow the boys and girls to fight each other, and then girls and girls to fight each other. I mean, or it's okay to fight and beat up on one another, and it's not okay. Sometimes they are victims of abuse and they think that it is all right to do that, and it's not. These things, they do have to be addressed, guys, and the reason why is because if a man says it, y'all, women have a problem with it. You don't understand what we're going through. You don't know anything. And then, so if women say it, then we're going to get the other end of the stick. Are you justifying men hitting on women? And it's not. So something that I really want us to get out of the habit of doing is kind of monopolizing and putting ourselves in what's reality. For example, and as I said, I don't believe that this person is actually really doing that, but I had to stop for a second. But anyway, what I'm saying is a lot of times there's one of two things that begins to happen. All right, if a man talks about, if a man was supposed to talk about this topic, which I'm sure they have, there's a lot of negative feedback that he may get. If a woman talks about it, then we are told we're siding with men, we're encouraging abuse. I'm not saying that this lady was saying that, okay? But I've seen that before. I've seen it when I've talked about things that women do. I'm either going to be labeled as a woman hater, or, oh, I'm trying to whatever. But ladies, it has to be talked about. It has to be addressed. And who's best to talk about this than another woman? Because we have nothing to gain by trying to side with the guys, and we have nothing to gain by speaking against, or calling y'all out on it. So we're really in a neutral position. There are women who's behaving this way, and what I find that happens a lot, as I was saying, is that when we're talking about men who are being abused, or when a man has to speak out about abuse, they are kind of snubbed out, and the whole issue becomes, well, women are being beaten and women are being hurt, and why, if I had to hit to defend myself. But we're not talking about women right now. And sometimes the whole context of what I spoke about is just twisted. I never said anything about it being okay for a woman to stand there and be beaten. I'm talking about women who are violent and aggressive, and they don't have any control over their anger. And once they get angry, they say things and they hit men. They just start to hit. They scratch up their boyfriends. They do all these things. And it's something they need to stop doing. And a lot of times men are not taken seriously because they're looking, oh, you're stronger, you should be able to take that. But then if he hits her, you're stronger, you shouldn't hit her. When men speaks about their issue and they're trying to talk about it, then the women want to monopolize the conversation to make it about them. Well, we went through this and we go through this and da da da. Or they're minimized. You must have done something to cause her to do that. But then if you were to say to a woman, you must have done something to cause that man to hit you, all hell's going to break loose. So this is why a lot of times I believe men who are victims of domestic violence keep quiet, because no one's going to believe them. They damned if they do, they damned if they don't. They need to just stay there and be beat up and scratched up and abused by the woman, because then if they try to get her off of him, he's going to be wrong for that. If he tries to restrain her, she's going to say he held me. If he tries to talk about it in the public, they're going to not believe him and say it must have been something that you did to deserve this. So they're damned if they do, if they're damned if they don't. But I feel like regardless of how people perceive it, it still needs to be addressed. It still needs to be talked about, because the fact of the matter is there is this group of women who are hiding in the shadows, hiding under their femininity, and the default the default considerations that's going to be given to them because they're women, but they use it to their advantage. Men do get abused, and we need to just be talking about that. Not about women being abused, men being abused. It's their turn, okay? We can't, when men are going through things and we're talking about the things that people do, women do, where a man finally gets really angry and lashes out on the woman for hitting him, it all of a sudden the dynamics change, and it's all about, oh, he shouldn't have done that. But anger does not care about, anger is an emotion. It's not a anger is not, and fury is not a male or female thing. Okay, when it comes, it's something that just affects the mind, and that person could black out. That person can't just do the unthinkable. So it is not only male or female that can go through it or be taken over by it. And it has nothing to do with trying to think clearly during that. Fury and anger is something where the person has been pushed to their limit, and then they just respond how they feel like they need to respond at the moment. So that's why I always say, just keep your hands to yourself. If you're with anybody, and I've acknowledged this before because this can happen, where you are with a person and you're actually patient and you're actually not a violent person, but if you're with a person that provokes you all the time, you're with a person who keeps doing the same things over and over to you, the things that you're telling them, you get to begging them, you're crying, you're pleading, please don't do this, don't do this, don't do this, stop doing this, this bothers me when you do, and they continue to do it, they continue to hurt you, they continue to betray you, they continue to cheat on you, they continue to lie, they continue to provoke you and do stuff. It is our responsibility to get away from that person, because what can happen is, yeah, you can snap off and get angry. You've seen it before, right? We've seen it in TV shows. Women get mad and slaps the man across the face and all of that, or get angry. That's the danger of it. So when you're with a person that plays on you like that, it's best to leave them alone. And the very second that you have hit that point where you hit rock bottom and you break things and you scream and you yell and you hit, you punch a wall or you get volatile, you need to get away from that person, because it's going to go to the next level. And a lot of times people who are emotionally manipulative and abusive, they get happy that you go there now, that you've gone to this point, because now it puts you on an even plane with them, and now they have something to guilt you about, and now they have something to, gain leverage with, which it really is not, because normally you're not this type of person. But you can only be responsible for yourself and just pull away from that person. Women hitting men, it's not okay. If you find that you're with a man who gets you to this point in your life where he keeps hurting you and you're so hurt you have to hit him, it's time for you to step away from that person. Okay? And then women, you're out there hitting women and hitting men and abusing them, you need to stop it. There's no such thing. He shouldn't have to take that because you're a woman. That stuff hurts. You're hitting him in the face, you're scratching him, you're drawing blood. That's not all right. And kind of the same thing that I've said to women in the past, those who just want to jump on the bandwagon and minimize these men's experiences. I will say, if it was your son, if you had a son and you had a brother, and then a woman assaults him and she hits him and she physically assaults him, and then the police come and all the police is talking about, well, you know, women get hit all the time. You would not want anyone to monopolize or to minimize your son's experience by saying that, you know, women are victims and they're always getting hurt and there must have been a reason why she hit and this is the reason why she did that. You would hate that. All right, so we have to be able to see things clearly and know that, yes, there are men who abuse women, but there are also women who abuse men, and it's not anything to do with something the man has done, but the fact that she's not in control of her emotions, she's not in control of herself. She is a person who just, it's easier for her to lash out on this person, and she thinks that she could get away with it, and she shouldn't be, no one should say anything about it. We see that all the time. We've seen major cases where when someone has been proven to be an abuser, they still want to believe the female. They just gonna believe the female anyway, because what happens is, the mistake a lot of women make is that they allow their emotions to get to, they allow their emotion to overtake critical thinking. So instead of seeing things for what it is, they want to believe what they want to believe. And that's one of the reasons why women end up staying in relationships that's not good for them, regardless of what they see. They see this man's a dog. They see this man's no good. They see that this person is a liar. They see that this person is whatever. They will still ignore the facts and allow their emotions to override that. And it's the same thing that they do in these cases with abuse. No one should be abused. No one should have to tolerate it. There's no such thing as, oh, he's stronger, he should be able to take it. No, keep your hands to yourself, because what's going to happen, you're going to meet that man that's going to slap you into the next life. And what's going to happen? The world, oh my God, it's a woman. Act like one. Keep your hands to yourself and pull yourself away from those situations that's just not good for you. It's not easy, but through assistance and help and prayer, we can do these things. So again, thank you all for listening. And once again, as I said with that lady, no harm, no foul, not knocking you for what you said. This video is not for you per se. I think it's good that you spoke. You did not say anything wrong, but it did make me feel like, let me go ahead and do this video because it needs to be said. All right, peace.